Hari Om, Bhagavad Gita, Daivasura Sambat Vibhaga Yoga, chapter 16, verse 24. In the last verse, Bhagwan Krishna said, the one who does not follow the sastras neither attains success nor happiness, nor he reaches the supreme goal. No success, no happiness, and he cannot even reach the supreme goal. Verse 24. तस्माच्चास्त्रं प्रमाणं ते कार्यकार्यव्यवस्थितौ ज्ञात्वा शास्त्रविधानोक्तं कर्म कर्तुमिहार्हसि. Bhagavan concludes this chapter. Tasmat, Swami Dayananda Saraswati says, Sastras, Vedas, they are the pramana. It is not only for Arjuna, but for all of us, everyone, no exception. Shastra is the pramana. Pramana means knowledge. What kind of knowledge? The knowledge that is required in determining what is to be done and what not to be done in a given situation. You should know what you should do. Also, you should know what you should not do. That is knowledge. Shastras also tell you what is the result of your actions. Suppose if I do this, suppose if I don't do this, then everybody wants to know what is the result. So if you do this karma, Shastras will tell you what is the karma phala. Therefore, one has to be mindful of his actions. All your actions. Only in this world, that is on earth, you can do karma. You have a choice to do or not to do. For example, in heaven, if you go to heaven, if at all I go to heaven, I cannot do any karma there. There is no question of doing any action. There is no papa or punya there. One can only enjoy the punya earned here and spend it there. I think something like you earn money for 12 months. Then what you do? You immediately book a foreign tour for enjoyment purpose to spend that money, whatever you have earned. Similarly, on this earth you earn the punya. Then you go to heaven to spend it there. That is what, you cannot do any work there. You have to spend the money. You have to spend the punya there. Swami Dayananda Saraswati says that of all the countries, India is considered to be a karma bhumi. India is a punya bhumi. Generally, that which is lightly got is less valued. We are all born in India. We do not know the value of this country. Dayananda Saraswati Swami says, it is a karma bhumi, it's a punya bhumi. A better place to gather karma phala. Naturally, what Swamiji means is to do good karma that earns punya. This human birth is very rare and very precious. This we have seen several times. Narajanmam durlabham. Swamiji says the freedom to learn and do karma and earn karma phala is to be properly used and not abused. Bhagavan says, Arjuna, do actions as enjoined by the Shastras, as given in the Shastras. That is what Bhagavan says in this verse. Swami Chinmayananda gives an example of a rat trap. In a rat trap, a piece of coconut is kept as a bait. It is attached to a small thin rod and suspended from the top of the trap. The poor rat, desiring to eat the coconut, it enters the trap and immediately it enters, then it cannot get out. It will become shut up. It will get caught. Blissfully ignorant of the perilous condition, the rat tries to eat the coconut. It didn't know that it is caught. It will jump, go on jumping to eat the coconut. After a whole night's futile labor, goes on jumping again and again and again and again and again. It jumps. Even the most healthiest rat will get exhausted by the morning. Naturally, how many times you can jump? What is worse? It is trapped and it is ignorant of that fact. Similarly, man relentlessly tries to find his happiness through desire satisfaction over and over, but in vain. The attempts are bound to fail because he can never hope to find lasting happiness from perishable objects. Every time he thinks he got something, his desire is fulfilled. Another desire arises in him to agitate his mind. The struggle continues, while the joy that he is seeking is always elusive, like coconut to rat. He can never have it, he can never enjoy. One after other, desire goes on coming. Always he is under tension, always he is jumping for something. One day, naturally, he will get exhausted. All that he achieves is physical, mental, and intellectual exhaustion. Bhagwan Krishna says, therefore, finally he says, Tasmat Shastram Pramananti. Therefore, keep Shastras as the authority. A seeker must necessarily follow the authority of the scriptures in planning his way of life. We don't know how to lead. That is why Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita gives you the way of life. One must arrange his life according to Gita, Sastra, Gita Sastra. Only with correct knowledge of what is to be pursued and what is to be avoided, an individual can determine his correct path in life. The grand road to truth is the same for all. Swami Chinmayananda says, the grand road to truth is the same for all. We say the Grand Trunk Road, the one single road, straight. The path cannot be determined by each pilgrim according to his whims and fancies. This is very, very important. Whatever way, you cannot individually decide this is the way. Then it will be confusing. The way prescribed by Sastra is the authority. If somebody says against Sastra, then it should be ignored, whoever it is. Shastra, Krishna, Bhagwan Krishna says, I am not saying. Bhagwan Krishna says, Sastra is Pramana. Who says? Bhagwan is not saying whatever I am saying, that is Pramana. Bhagwan Krishna says, Sastra is Pramana. The rishis have supplied the roadmap to perfection. They walked the path and reached the glorious goal. Hence, their instructions must be faultless. Further, many have followed that path and reached the destination. Hence, Swamiji says, we the humble pedestrians must follow that path faithfully and bless ourselves. These instructions, far from impinging upon our freedom. We always think, if I follow the Sastra, it says don't do this, don't do that, don't do that. So we think our freedom is curtailed. But Swamiji says, these instructions, far from impinging upon our freedom, these great declarations, when brought into our living, actually free us from bondages of life. They will awaken us into blissful living. Hence, before starting out on that pilgrimage, a seeker is required to study the scriptures. That is the first point. I think we are there, studying the scripture. Then correct knowledge. I think we are there because we are following Swamiji's instructions. So, at least we are trying to understand the correct knowledge. Clear understanding of the scriptures. The third step also we are actually doing it. Intellectual vision of the goal to be achieved. That is also there. Every chapter says, the self in me is the self in all. The same self which is present in me, it is the same self which is there in everybody, even if he is a terrorist. So the vision is also there, according to me. And the possible difficulties en route. We have seen what are the difficulties one has to face in life. There is always a Deva Asura fight. Every day, every minute happening in our minds. So that also the Shastras cautioning. All must be known by the seeker. The seeker must know all these things. So again I repeat this. This is very important. A seeker is required to study the scriptures. Ramayana, Mahabharata, everything is Veda. Everything takes you to the same goal. If you do not understand Bhagavad Gita, if you are not interested, Ramayana is there, Mahabharata is there, or Bhagavatam is there. So study the scriptures. Correct knowledge. Correct knowledge will come only if we go to a perfect guru. Of course, how to choose a perfect guru if somebody asks? I have chosen my gurus through the books which they have given. So correct knowledge, clear understanding. I am trying to understand. As far as my intellectual capacity permits, I am trying to understand. Clear understanding of the scriptures. Intellectual vision, that is there. What is Vishwarupa Yoga? Bhagavan says, I am there, everywhere I am there. You are having blind eyes. What can I do? I have given you the good eye. But if you put that dark cloth behind before your eyes, how can you see me? So intellectual vision is also there. The possible difficulties. What are all the difficulties that will come? That also we know. All this must be known to the speaker. Swami Chinmayananda says, if you know all this, it is not enough. That is the beauty. Sir, everything I know. Now at least a part of it, I can't say everything I know. Even if you know everything, it is not enough. That is what Swami Chinmayananda says. Why? If one knows the Sastras exhaustively, but if you are not following that Sastra, knowing the Sastra is something different, following it or living it is something different. So one must have the courage or develop the courage to live, the will to pursue, and the patience to wait till the Supreme is realized. Of the way you cannot give it up. No, I have been reading Bhagavad Gita for 4 years. What is the use, sir? Nothing, no change. Even for me, I will say, no anger has gone. Desire is there. So can I say, no, sir, Bhagavad Gita is useless. So it has not changed my life. No, some change is happening inside without my knowledge. Adhishtapala. So that will be happening. You don't worry about those things. Just follow the path. Dr. Radhakrishnan, not me, the Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan. Incidentally, I used to tell you, my name is also S. Radhakrishnan. Dr. Radhakrishnan, he says, the drive of desire must be displaced by the knowledge of right action. When the supreme end of freedom of spirit is attained, the individual acts not from instinct, not from law, but from a deep insight into the spirit of all life. That is what I am saying. You don't act selfishly, you act selflessly. That is the point. Knowing the law is not enough. That is what I think. What Bhagwan Krishna says is, knowing the law is not enough. We all know Indian laws. Let us take for example. Everybody knows the law. Most of the laws, at least even by reading newspapers or through something you know. But if you do not follow the law, if you do not follow the law, just reading it, then will that mean that I can go against the red signal, or I can hit somebody, or I can do whatever nonsense I want to do? Question is, did you act according to law? Or you on the right side of law? Did you follow the law? That is the question. Bhagavan says, know the Sastras, follow the law. That is the ultimate eternal law. These laws are stupid laws. I am sorry to say. Of course, when Bhagavan says this, we are also saying in India, constitution is the authority. If anything is there, immediately people will say, no, 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 this is unconstitutional. Immediately they will go to Supreme Court and challenge the law. Everything must be, uh, uh, it must be within the four corners of Constitution. That is only India. If you go to America, Indian Constitution, they will throw it out. No, no, you follow my law. But there is an universal law. Universal law. What is that universal law? Everybody it will apply. That universal law is the Sastra. That is Vedas. So Bhagavan says, that is the Pramana. Everyone it will be applicable. Whether you are in America, whether you are in Africa, whether you are in India. So for everyone, Sastra is a Pramana. That is what Bhagavan says. Bhagavan finally says, hey Arjuna, follow the law. Know the scriptures. Take scripture as the Pramana, like Constitution of India. And then act according to the Constitution. So that is the rule. That is what Bhagwan Krishna says in this verse. Verse 24.
Tasmat Shastram Pramanam Te Karya Vyavastitau Jnatva Sastra Vidhanoktam Karma Kartumigharhasi. Om Tat Sat. Idi Srimad Bhagavad Gitasu Upanishatsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Sastre Shri Krishnarjuna Samvade Daivasura Sambat Vibhaga Yogo Nama Shodashodhyayam.
Next chapter, after completing recapitulation of this chapter, we will begin. By Bhagwan's blessings and Guru's blessings, we have completed 16 chapters. We have climbed the 16 chapters. As Bhagavan says, we know we know now little bit. I'm not saying thoroughly we know, but the question is, are we living it? If you ask that question to me, I think not yet. Still, there is much to be done. Hari Om, Sarvam Krishnarpanamastu.
Narayana 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 Narayana